was a deterrent weapon. Has anybody here ever seen the movie Dr. Strangelove? One of my favorites. If you haven't seen it, I recommend that you do. Download it from Netflix. An old movie, it's black and white. Peter Sellers has 3 parts in there. One of his parts is Dr. Strangelove, who has the best definition of deterrence I've ever heard. He says, deterrence is the art of instilling in the mind of your enemy the fear to attack. Okay? We had 54 of these Titans. All of them had that 9 megaton weapon on there. Okay? They were all in this hardened facility. Our adversaries knew where these were. They knew how hardened we were. Okay? We told them, don't start something. Don't shoot at us. We'll shoot all of these back at you. Nobody's going to win. We'll have a mad situation. Mutually assured destruction. Okay? And Titan did his job very well. Okay? Titan kept the Cold War from becoming hot. But, for demonstration's sake, let's say that that's not happening. Who's the only person in the United States that can authorize the release of nuclear weapons? You? No. The president. That's very right. Okay, so we're sitting down here minding our own business when we hear this. Okay, as soon as that warbling tone sounded, you grabbed your magic decoding book. Oh, by the way, do you have a top secret clearance?
Yes.
Okay. I grab mine. We start writing those letters and numbers down. There's 35 characters in that message. The first 5 you heard there is called a preamble. By listening to those first 5, we know we have a launch message because we've already decoded that and been told that what a launch message preamble is going to sound like. So we know we have a launch message. So we start writing down everything else. Once it's read through once, the narrator is going to say, I say again, at which point in time we trade. I give you my book, you give me your book. We're going to check each other to make sure we both wrote down all 35 of those characters correctly. Once we agree that that message has been recorded correctly, you say, open the safe. So you go over, take your lock off, I take my lock off, we take things out of here that we need to do our job. One of the first things we're going to do is authenticate whether that message actually did come from the President of the United States. The second line of that message is the authentication line. It has 7 characters on it. Let's say that that line in this message started with Lima Papa. We pull the Lima Papa authentication card out of the safe, pop it open, and inside is what we call a cookie. On that cookie are 7 characters. Okay? All 7 of those characters must match exactly with the authentication line in the message. Once we know that, then we know that we have an authenticated message from the President and we're going to launch a message. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is pull out our keys. We don't push a button to launch Titan, we turn keys. Commander's key has been inserted for her right here. My key is over here. Notice they're over 7 feet apart. Both of us have to agree that we're going to launch this missile. We have to turn them within 2 seconds. They're spring loaded to the off position. So we have to turn them to the right and hold them for 5 seconds to launch the missile. We have to agree. 2 inputs for 1 output. Okay? The next thing we're going to do is pull out a document in there called a SIOP, a Single Integrated Operations Plan. Nuclear war is choreographed. We don't just send our missiles willy-nilly. Okay? We don't want to hit a target that's got a B-52 flying through with loopy inside. We don't want that to happen. So we're going to figure out what our date and time is for the launch, and we'll write that in grease pencil across here. The last thing that we're going to do, and it's the only time this information has been on this site, is we're going to find the code for the butterfly valve lock. Okay? Out on the missile are 4 of these butterfly valves. Okay? One of them has a lock on it. Okay? That lock is controlled by this mechanism here. All right? We have to put the right combination in here. And there are 6 thumb wheels here with 16 different characters on it. Once that correct combination is in there, the valve opens, fuel and oxidizer flow to the main engine, off it goes. Now, that means there are 16 to the 6th power different combinations. And how many is that?
A lot.
A lot is a great answer.
Yeah.
Just shy of 17 million. Okay? You'd think that'd be pretty secure. SAC didn't think so, they put a tries counter on here. You only got 7 tries to get the right combination in there. On the 8th try, whether it was right or wrong, this committed suicide, the lock failed itself into the valve, and you had to make a phone call to somebody much higher up and say, I'm in trouble. And they would say, you're probably looking for a new job. So you didn't let anybody mess with this. Okay. All right. So the code was in there. You ready for the VMAT? You dial it in, hit the button. Said we're ready to go. Ready to go, Commander. Okay, Commander. I see that it's about time for us to launch our weapon of mass destruction. Using your left hand, put it on the key. And then we're going to turn it that way. So give me a countdown. 3, 2, 1. Turn keys.
3, 2, 1. Turn keys.
Hold it until I tell you to let go. Look up there and see the big lights come on. Let go. Sit back, relax. It's like shooting a rifle. The bullet's gone. Okay. All right. First thing that happens, you got a green light here, right? Okay. Then it says, what's next to it? It says batteries activated. 228-volt batteries on the missile are being activated for the first time. It takes about 26 seconds. Once they come online, we'll get what's called APS power. That will be our next light. At the same time, the silo closure door is beginning to open. It's going to go through those tipsy beams. We're also pumping water under the engines. We'll talk about that here in a minute. So we got APS power. The missile doesn't need us for powering. Okay, that's going to flip. Silo closure door clip the tipsies. Okay, we got silo soft. Guidance go, the last input from the MAGAC has gone out to the missile. Okay, we're going to have the missile start its own engines when it wants to. We're going to create a huge fire in the silo. We'll know that because the klaxon will go off telling us that there's a fire in the silo. 4 seconds later, we have liftoff.